Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting company. Hey, come on in. I want to show you what I've been watching lately. Come on. Make sure you close the door behind you. Just kidding. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my humble abode where I want to talk about the show I've been watching. Maybe you heard of it? If you didn't, what are you, in a cave in Tatooine or something? No, seriously, with all due respect, I'm literally in a cave in Tatooine. And I've even been keeping up with what's on the telly. My boy Elon over there, he hooked us up with some Starlink. Thanks, bud. Needless to say, we're going to be talking about spoilers. So let's give them a quick spoiler dance break. If you want to stick around, we're talking about some big implications. Two things, I think, setting the stage for the future of Star Wars. Can you press the button over there? Don't say I didn't warn you. I wanted to sit down and talk about Ahsoka, y'all, because really we're entering into this new era of Star Wars. Episode 4 is setting the foundation for a huge Star Wars future. I mean, come on. I have all the credibility in the world to say that. Yeah, it's even so big that Star Wars is releasing Episode 5 in actual theaters. This is the first time a Disney Plus show is getting a single episode aired inside a theater. So yeah, if you aren't convinced something nutty is gonna happen, I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways, another thing I gotta say about Ahsoka before we get into, I have been enjoying it quite a lot, is that this episode 4, it's great seeing the Star Wars community on the same page and excited about the future of Star Wars. Seriously, I think that's probably the biggest love I'm getting out of this show. But it's nice seeing episode 4 and hopefully into episode 5, the Star Wars community is gonna be eating good. All right, so what are we talking about? The two things I really want to investigate with you guys is the world between worlds, which we'll probably save more towards the end. But the official, well, hopefully they had safe travels. The Eye of Sion completing the first intergalactic. It's right. Intra means we're outside of the galaxy. Can someone do like a little check and make sure I'm using the right verbiage here? We're going into a whole brand new galaxy. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Now, there's going to be a lot of theories circulating this over the next week. We're just going to have to wait. Let's hope some of these theories don't turn up to be like what Marek turned out to be. The guy, I'm like, the theories for Marek, whatever. You know what I mean? It went from, ooh, he might be a droid. Ooh, it could be Ezra. Oh my God, Sam Witwer's in the credits. It's gotta be Starkiller. Holy cow. And yeah, it turned out to be a giant Night Sister fart. Literally. So obviously everything we're throwing out here is complete theory. We're going to a whole brand new galaxies. The whole point I'm trying to get at here. This is certainly a big feat in Star Wars. I mean, pretty much beyond that, we kind of had some of the unknown regions where Thrawn would kind of pop in, say hi, and then he'd kind of go back to the unknown regions where his kind is from. Fun fact, yeah, Thrawn, it makes a lot of sense in hindsight now that I'm bringing this up. They wrote 6 canon Thrawn books, which makes a lot of sense now because Thrawn's got this bigger picture for Star Wars. But we did see Thrawn kind of cross the unknown regions, which is it's pretty much impossible for people in the core of the galaxy to reach the unknown regions. But Thrawn was able to get from the unknown regions, met up with Anakin Skywalker accidentally on this planet called Batuu. Yeah, they went to Disney World. They spent a few thousand on some lightsabers, and they hopped on the Millennium Falcon ride a few times. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Make sure you read the book. Thrawn Alliances, highly recommend reading it. But we haven't really seen any sort of canon appearance by going to a brand new galaxy. And assuming Morgan is making safe travels, best of luck to her. Wouldn't that be funny if episode 5 is like, yeah, they just didn't make it. Hey, you never know. Star Wars, it's kind of interesting. I've been sort of impressed. Unlike other universes like Marvel or DC, where they just spawn new timelines or whatever to kind of branch into new stories, Star Wars hasn't really done so. The only sort of expansions that we have into Star Wars stories, either by adding some years after the original trilogy, now we're getting some years before the prequels with the High Republic, and we know that the Star Wars canon is really only being expanded on a singular time timeline from one end to the other, so it's kind of linear. Being able to go into a whole brand new galaxy, that's a big deal. All of the untapped stories that exist out there without having to milk the Anakin story again and going to Tatooine again is going to be a big well of opportunities for Star Wars to interact with. And I kind of like it more than a multiverse, which we're going to kind of talk about that with the world between worlds. I don't know. I like the idea that Star Wars is kind of the singular timeline, singular universe. It's easy to keep up with things. And it makes it feel more official, you know? I don't know. But they're going out to get Thrawn. Now, of course, maybe they're just going to get Thrawn, they're going to come back, and that's it. Wouldn't it be funny if Thrawn, they go visit Thrawn? They finally get it. It's like, we finally are coming to get you. Please return of us. And Thrawn's like, you know, I'm going to have to pass on that one. Imagine he's in the jacuzzi, got some honeys next to him. Do you think he really wants to come out of retirement because of some failed empire? I don't know. I wouldn't be, I would actually, now that I think about it, I really want that to happen. They just come see Thrawn. He's like, he's done. He's like, guys, I am done. And he's a smart guy for the most part, even though he did get owned by a little teenager, but we're not going to get into that. He's smart enough to know that they're just going to kill him off. Anyways, back on topic here. So the question is, are we really going to go into this new galaxy, wherever Thrawn is, and really start exploring the different stories, the different species? Because that's what especially the Thrawn books look into, and especially when we get to the Ascendancy trilogy, where we kind of see Thrawn and what the Ascendancy was trying to tackle with the variety of challenge that they had. It leads into brand new, unique stories that I think people want to see. It'd be really cool to just go to a completely different galaxy where everything that we saw had no real connection to, like, the Anakin. Who the hell is an Anakin? Kylo, Rey, what do you mean? So it'd be really cool going to a far distant galaxy with some familiar characters, bridging that gap for the first time to investigate other stories. Like the Chiss Ascendancy was really cool to look into, and I really like Arlani looking into Eli Vanta. So anyways, big universe out there, another galaxy. I guess the question is, will they be able to move back and forth? Now the Eye of Sion looks like, even though it was empty going, it looks like it's big enough to maybe fit a capital ship in. My expectation is maybe they're building a giant hyperspace ring to fit Thrawn's Chimera into, so they can bring it back over to their galaxy. But the question will be, will they be able to go to that other galaxy again? Will they be able to finally say, hey, we found a way to go back and forth? I will admit, I feel like I would be a little let down if they just tease us a little bit. They go to this other galaxy, they come back, and then the rebels, because rebel good, rebel explode. They're probably gonna blow it up, and it's for the sake of the freaking rebels are party poopers, man. I don't know what this fascination is about them. So I'll be a little let down if we end up not seeing this galactic, this story expansion through another galaxy in the Star Wars universe. I'm actually kind of excited about that. But the second thing that episode 4 left off on with the little bit at the end. So the Eye of Sion, the hyperspace ring was kind of the setup for these 4 episodes. And now they're like, all right, we got that. We're into a new galaxy. Now we're going to drop the world between worlds. Oh my gosh. I will admit 2 things. Number 1, after seeing it in Rebels, World Between Worlds was I think the first time we saw it was inside of Rebels, where Ezra's going around, he's just trying to yank people out of these different time portals or whatever. It's not a time machine. Listen, okay, just let's not get into specifics here, okay? But now we're seeing it again at the very end with Anakin saying, hello, Snips. That sounds a little too sexy. So the World Between Worlds, this is probably going to turn into that massive theory rush that we had for Merrick and many other things, and hopefully it doesn't fall flat on its face with these very grand theories. Regardless, it's a big deal. Now, a few things. Ahsoka, she got schooled by Balin. She got knocked over the cliff. She might be tripping big time here. By the way, the Balin fight, oh my gosh, one of the better lightsaber fights we've seen throughout Star Wars. It wasn't this over choreographed dance like we see with a lot of Star Wars fights out there. It felt like a purposeful fight with Balin trying to kick big, heavy swings. It was really cool to see. I liked it a lot. Definitely one of my favorite Star Wars lightsaber fights. God, this chair. Oh, God, I need to get a new chair here. World Between Worlds. This is such a complicated discussion. And even the community's not really on the same page. We saw that Ezra was literally able to rip Ahsoka out of the timeline. And not even the timeline, boy. The way I understand the World Between Worlds, it's kind of where all the time and force kind of pools into one area, and you can kind of peer through the different windows and kind of get a glimpse of it. Like, oh, look, Anakin, Obi-Wan. Oh, look, Luke and Vader. Oh, look, Rey and Kylo. silo, so it's kind of like a lot of TV screens, but you can reach in and yank people out. And that's where it kind of gets weird, because is that time then? And even when Ezra was trying to bring Kanan back, Ahsoka had to remind him, if you did that, pretty much everyone else would be dead, and there would have been consequences. So we didn't actually see the full impact of the world between worlds. We know that Sidious was trying to get access to the world between worlds, and who knows what could have happened if Sidious actually got access to the world between worlds. Could he have done catastrophic events to the timeline? Boy, it's really weird to say it like that, because now it sounds like this TVA thing for Marvel. We don't really know. Like, what would have happened if Kanan was pulled out? What would have happened, I guess, as we're going to maybe talk about, if Anakin and if Ahsoka's able to intervene with Anakin's fall to the dark side? I think there's more questions than answers at this point. I think that's what's going to be exciting for, especially next week. And again, episode 5 is being aired in theaters. Something big's going to happen, whether it's the Thrawn coming back, whether it might be. And before we get too much more in the world between worlds, I know I kind of got a lot into it. Another theory that I'm seeing that I maybe kind of buy is that this could be one of the gods of Mortis, the sun. And yeah, you know, he was killed. Well, you know, we've seen a lot of people killed, and they don't seem to die. So don't bring up, oh, he's dead. Listen, no one's ever really gone. So it could be the sun trying to deceive Ahsoka into doing some shady business. So for right now, I'm going with the fact that somehow Ahsoka landed in the world between worlds like she did in the past. And then we see this Anakin. And is this going to be an Anakin, like legit Anakin? Maybe it's like a Force Ghost. This is where Force Ghosts kind of appear in a more normal form. And when they're trying to project themselves outside the world between worlds, that's where they kind of get that blue aura potentially. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, the lightsaber is like Darth Vader's lightsabers. This might be like a what if Anakin won on Mustafar. I don't think that's actually Darth Vader's lightsaber that Anakin has in him. It seems to be the Revenge of the Sith Anakin with the lightsaber he had before he before he got chopped in bits. It just the odd thing is that they played the Vader theme at the very end. Dun, 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 dun. So what if it's weird? So the son could be playing as Anakin, trying to tap into Ahsoka's emotions, and because she feels guilty for where Anakin went and the fall he had to the dark side. Or what if this is like somehow the world between worlds was able to let the dark side Anakin like exit his portal, and he's trying to like enter the future, and then he's gonna cause massive chaos. I don't know. All I know is that there's so much theory about time travel, correcting time, and is that gonna have any impact? Will this spawn some sort of multiverse? I think we're just going to probably see a rehash of the Ahsoka Ezra thing, World Between Worlds and Rebels, where she's tempted. She wants to maybe try to fix what happened on Mustafar, stop Anakin from falling. Ultimately, she doesn't. I don't know. At the end of the day, there's something big's going to happen to Star Wars, or it could just be like the Merrick theory and just turn out to be a giant Night Sister fart and nothing happens. But we have two big things on the table, guys. We have the new galaxy we're visiting, the possibility of World Between Worlds, opening some timelines. I don't know. Well, what a great video. Well, thanks, Donald. I just want to talk about this. We're literally on the precipice of possibly the next big era of Star Wars here. This is going to be some of the most important episodes if it does lead into one of those things that we're talking about there. If you'd like to see more of this, definitely leave that like, comment down below. This is a lot of fun kind of sitting and chit-chatting. I really just wanted to sit down and talk about this. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is the cool time to be a Star Wars fan. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's on the edge. There's big movie releases. I don't know. But nonetheless, leave that like, comment down below, and always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.